Good evening, Drew.
I'm sorry, I was early.
That's okay. I would have been
s-
there, but I was shouting into the other room.
Yeah, you need to tell Jennifer that this is very serious. We can't have any
No.
outside interference.
No. Oh.
Okay, we're an episode behind because last week was just all over the place for reasons we'll get into here in a minute. But I want to open this episode with a letter.
A letter, an actual piece of mail. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This letter is dated July 31st, 2024. Dear Andrew Ferguel, emphasis caps.
Okay.
This check represents your class payment in regards to the MacBoard keyboard litigation settlement, case number, and I'm not going to read that.
Mm-hmm.
The payment amount was calculated pursuant to the terms of the settlement agreement and release, the plan of allocation, and payment order approved by the court. You must cash or deposit your check promptly, as it will be void on 10/29/2024, 90 days after issuance. If you have any questions about this payment, please consult the notice you previously received. You may also contact the settlement administrator by calling toll-free, and there's a phone number, or emailing. I'm not going to read that either. Or by visiting the website, and definitely not going to read that. The settlement administrator cannot provide tax advice. Accordingly, we suggest you consult your tax advisor if you are not certain about the tax treatment of this payment. Regards, settlement administrator in regards, MacBook keyboard litigation.
How much did you get?
Would you like to guess?
$37.
Nope.
$25.
Wrong direction.
$48.
Keep going.
$92.
Keep going.
$120.
$125.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think this is the third check they've sent me.
Keep sending, like,
well, the other ones were like for like dollars, dozens of dollars, and I guess this is like the final payment. What are we talking about? We're talking about once upon a time. I bought a MacBook Pro that had the butterfly keyboard. I was affected by that horrible, no good keyboard.
It was a pretty bad keyboard.
I never thought that it was a bad keyboard to type on. I really enjoyed typing on that.
Yeah,
keyboard.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But it was not a very well-made keyboard, as it turns out.
No, it was not reliable at all.
My E key went out on it, which I don't know if you know this, but my name has lots of E's in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you ever have to, even my email address has a lot of E's in it. So every time I would sign my name on an email, it has an E in it. So I ended up having to get the keyboard replaced. It was partially covered under warranty, ? Because I don't think I had Apple Care, but then they like...
Oh, they had that program to extend it.
Yeah. So I took it in, and because that's all one piece, they basically had to take it, like the whole bottom of the computer apart and replace it. I was without my computer for like 3 days. It was not a good time, but I believe that this now, hopefully, I mean, unless they want to send me more money, represents the end of this. I'm going to consider this matter closed.
Yes, yeah, I would too.
Because I cashed that check. But yeah, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Boy, we did a lot of stuff.
We did a lot of stuff. Where do you want to go first?
This might be a longer episode. Do you want to get nerd stuff out of the way first?
We can do whatever. We can move some of this stuff to next episode.
No.
Okay.
I think the audience misses us.
Okay.
I think the audience misses us.
Okay.
Let's get the boring shit out of the way first. The stuff that no one else cares about but me and you.
Okay.
So video game stuff.
Uh-huh.
I saw that Dredge has a new DLC.
Yeah, it's out today.
Yeah. I didn't play it yet.
I haven't either. I was kind of taken by surprise by this. But I guess I shouldn't have been because, well, I guess it's been talked about for a while. I just missed it.
Me too. I had no idea. That's why I'm putting it here. I had no idea.
I'm gonna probably play it. I'm just gonna have to decide where I'm gonna play it. And if you haven't seen it yet, if you like No Clip, the YouTube channel that makes video game documentaries, they just came out with one on Dredge like earlier this week. Huh. And they pretty much have the entire dev team, because there's just 3 of them, doing an interview about the design of Dredge, and it's actually really interesting to to hear like an indie studio who kind of knew what they were doing, but not really. And yeah. And like they have some good video of like all the prototypes that they were doing and things. So it's pretty interesting if you like video game stuff.
I imagine making a video game is kind of hard. I mean,
yeah,
making computer software is already hard enough. Making a good game like they did is probably pretty hard too.
Yep.
But speaking of games, I have decided that it's time for me to buy Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, okay.
It's on sale. It's on sale right now.
I love that game. Yes.
I know you do.
Yes.
But my question to you is, do I need DLC?
What is the Cult of the...
There's actually 5 DLC packs: the Cultist pack, the Heretics pack, pack, the Sinful pack, and the Pilgrim pack.
No. I think all they do is give you, I believe. Let me take a look. Let me go to the Steam page here. Okay, so the Heretic pack. Cosmetic.
Yeah, from my read on it, it was mostly cosmetic or different skins for the villagers.
Yes, yeah, that's what they are. Yeah.
Okay, but I don't need that.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No. You do not need that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of Devolver stuff on sale.
Yeah, they kept it, and they've just added a whole bunch of new features to Cult of the Lamb, so it's a good time to get in.
Have you tried those features out?
No, they're relatively new. I played it. I beat it again when they had like their previous major update, which introduced like getting your followers to get busy and making babies and stuff. This one adds some other features and a couch co-op. So yeah,
and I'm sure it plays well on the Steam Deck, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pick that up. $12 seems like a more than fair price for that game.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good game. It's quirky. It's fun. You know. Yeah.
I mean, you had good things to say about it, so I'm in.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing we did that is sort of game related is, and part of the reason we didn't record last week is we finally finished as a group the Ticket to Ride Legends of the West Legacy game.
We sure did.
We had 2 games left to play. They were the longest session. They were the longest rounds that we played.
They were long ass games of Ticket to Ride. Period. They were just fucking long.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought maybe now, and I don't necessarily know if we need spoiler horn for this, but I just kind of wanted to get your read on it and see what you thought.
What did I think? I thought it was like I enjoyed getting together and hanging out with people and playing
100%.
12 games of Ticket to Ride. I had a blast. I think the game itself is fine. Maybe good, but not great.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job of expanding on what Ticket to Ride was and kept it interesting enough through the 12 or 13 games of Ticket to Ride that we played by introducing new mechanics, really adding more player interaction, because outside of just like, blocking somebody from a route, the fact that, you had to pay other players to use their cities and, multiple people were trying to do different things outside of just build trains, and there were all sorts of stuff that they added. I thought maybe they added a little too much.
I was going to say that. I think it was like 20% too much. That they added onto the base.
And while I appreciated the freedom to expand the board, basically the winner getting to choose which direction the board expanded was cool. But I feel like if they had just put in like a couple regions without gimmicks, would have been fine.
Yeah, I also think I think there was a lot of affordances for not knowing where you were going to go. And I think,
what do you mean?
Because they don't know which way you're going to pick and what mechanic you're going to open up. So the mechanics,
I see.
The mechanics don't really integrate with each other. They're all very separate things. I think a more structured, adding these mechanics in this order and you do this, they could have done some more interesting things with the mechanics, or but
I was invested all the way up to the extreme end of the game. I enjoyed every game. I enjoyed getting together with the 5 of us that played. like you said, that part was super cool. And I didn't win. I think I won one total round of that game.
Me too. The first round, I won the first round.
But like, even though I wasn't necessarily winning games, I only felt that there were probably 2 or 3 games that I like totally shit the bed on score wise. And for those of you that haven't played Ticket to Ride before, normally when you're playing Ticket to Ride, it's mostly your score was a sum of how many routes you built and how many tickets, or basically secret routes that only you knew about that you had to connect different cities to do. And that was kind of true here too. Like, that didn't go away, but there were lots of other ways to get points.
Yeah.
Like this game introduced the concept of having to like pay people money. So you had like a money score, you had how many trains you had left over, which was basically a different way of just like figuring out how many routes you built. And then there were tickets, but there were also other ways to score. And some of those were secret. So the way that it kind of worked was every player had a little box, and at different points throughout the game, you had a way to basically tuck cards or other artifacts into that little box. And the intriguing thing about that was the other players didn't necessarily know what those cards were going to be worth at like the end of the entire campaign, not just each game, but 12 games later, you got to open that box back up and add those points together to figure out what you were going to get. I legitimately thought, like, okay, I've been sort of like squirreling away a lot of stuff while other people have been scoring high in games. I think I'm going to be able to like hang at the end.
No, yeah.
And that didn't happen.
All of that other stuff was a small percentage. It was mostly how well you did in the games.
Yeah, the 2 players that scored like consistently high every round were the clear winners, and it was everybody else. In fact, what the funny part was, you and I finished 4th and 5th, and the difference was 1 point.
Yes. And
I had literally 1 point.
Yeah, I had like 4 really bad games in a row, like really bad, like coming in last. And the fact that I was like in the mix, I was pretty proud of myself and how I played those last couple of games.
Yeah, I
didn't win any of them, but I hung in the pack, and yeah.
Yeah, you made up a lot of ground versus me, who didn't necessarily. Yeah. I was consistently bottom tier. I think, like that's what I said, with the exception of one game where I did just exceptionally well. But I wish there would have been other ways to stay competitive, or maybe make those little tucking away mechanics worth a lot more points than they were.
Yeah, I can see that.
I liked playing Ticket to Ride. It's an easy game to teach. If I have friends or family over and we want to play a game, it's pretty low stakes. People by like their second turn, they know what's going on. I have, not counting that version of Ticket to Ride, I probably have 4 different editions of Ticket to Ride, various collector's editions of Ticket to Ride. Even though we basically handcrafted our own version of Ticket to Ride at the end of this, I can't see myself playing that again. I would much rather play Ticket to Ride Europe. If I'm going to bring Ticket to Ride to the table with 3 or 4 people, it's going to be Ticket to Ride Europe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like if someone asked me, hey, you want to be the 5th for Ticket to Ride Legacy? I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean,
even Ticket to Ride Rails to Sales is a good one.
I don't think I played that one.
That's the one with boats and trains.
Okay.
You didn't play that?
Maybe I did.
Yeah. That game, like a regular game of Ticket to Ride Europe, you can knock out in an hour. Even with a group of new players, you can knock that out in an hour. Rails and Sales is a good hour and a half, 2 hours. Just because there's so many more boats and cards and rules and stuff. But yeah, those last couple games of the Legacy version took us 2 hours a game, about. Yeah, because we started at 8, we finished like at 12:30. Yeah, so those were long games, but I thought it was fun. I mean, the group of people we play with are all pretty good, humorous, and competitive, and I don't know, just a good time. Just a very good time all around.
Indeed.
All right, let's get into our unique topic. So we're gonna do a little Paul sandwich here. I'll start off.
Okay.
The big cliffhanger that we had in the last episode that we recorded was I was going to be getting up early the next day to go shoot in a competition.
You sure were.
Yep.
And
I didn't finish last,
excellent.
but I finished third from last.
Okay, but
So
it's been a while since you've been out there. I think that's
yeah,
respectable.
it has been a very long while since I've been out there. So
Yeah.
here's the deal. Um, I did a lot of preparation. I've been shooting a lot over the course of last year, and then the fall, and then the spring, and then the summer. I've been shooting a lot, and my buddy that I go shoot with, we've upgraded our gear, and he and I have wanted to shoot competitions for a while, and this was a 22 precision rifle series match. I'll put links to this in the show notes if you're curious. You can actually look my score up if you want. So PRS is basically like an unofficial league. You register in the PRS system. You basically buy like a yearly membership. And when you go to these competitions, you can give the judges or the event organizers your PRS number, and they'll basically log your score. And it's an online league, and then there's like regionals, there's nationals. I think there might even be like an international thing that, like, if you score high enough, you can go and compete in those events and things like that. I had not shot a competition in, let's see, what year would that have been? 3, 10, probably 17 years. It was the last time I ever shot a competition. And I did come in like 8th out of 16 in that competition. This was before PRS. I don't even know if you can even find those scores online. If you search for my name, you're going to get a lot of weird results, but good luck. Anyway, back then, if you had your rifled zero, you went out, and it wasn't bench rest. In other words, we weren't just sitting still the whole time, but you would have a course of fire where you would move between a couple different positions and shoot. Like I said, I hadn't done this for a while, and basically this was a 22 match. And my thought behind it is that even though I had spent a decent amount of money on equipment to get ready for this, it's a pretty cheap way to get into the sport. Ammunition's cheap, the guns are cheaper. You'll frankly spend more money on accessories than you will your actual firearm at the end of the day.
Which we've proven. Yep.
Yep. But it's one of those things where you just have to decide, I'm going to go and do this. Now, leading up to the event, I had obviously built out my rifle, got a new optic, took it out to the range, zeroed it, practiced, practiced taking shots in different conditions, practiced shooting prone, shot my rifle from different distances to make sure that I could hit like a 1-inch steel target at 300 yards with a 22, which is not necessarily easy, but on a calm day, if you know your equipment, you can get that done. So I thought, and I had my ballistic calculator pre-programmed. I was about as ready as I thought that I could be. So the day of the competition rolls around, and the way that it works is after you sign up, they divvy everybody up into squads. And the reason they do that is that when the competition starts, one squad will start on one stage, another squad will start on another stage, and everybody sort of rotates through the entire course of fire, so that at the end of the day, everybody has shot stages, but everybody starts in a different spot, so there's not a lot of waiting around. And I was in a squad of like 6 people. The biggest squad had like 9 people. And every squad went to a different station, and every station was a different course of fire. Now, a course of fire, what that means is you'll show up to a stage, and each stage has rules. So, for example, the first stage that we shot is that you had 90 seconds to shoot 10 rounds. And in that 90 seconds and in that 10 rounds, there were 3 targets set up for you to shoot. The catch was your shooting position didn't have to change, but you were basically sitting on a 45-degree angle board. So picture like a little ramp where your gun is perched like at the top of it, and you're leaning against the ramp in a really uncomfortable position, having to shoot and change targets.
Okay.
So basically, you start standing up, holding your gun, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and any other equipment that you have, which I'll talk about that in a minute. But basically, obviously, if you're going to shoot, you have to have your gun. But there's other equipment. Your bolt is open. Your magazine is in. There's not a round chamber. The person who is keeping score and keeping time behind you says shooter ready, and you say yep, and then they say stand by, and then 1 to 3 seconds later you'll hear a very loud beep, and that's your cue to go. The way it works is you get into your shooting position, you look through your optic, you acquire your target, and then and only then do you close your bolt for safety reasons. It's not like you load your gun, you run over with, like, you're running towards the thing with a loaded gun, one-handed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now that you've talked through that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you acquire your target, you close your bolt, and then you can start shooting. What I didn't have an appreciation for was shooting from these different surfaces in these more uncomfortable positions. So like in the first stage, I did not get all 10 of my shots off in 90 seconds. Because what happens is you have to first get up on the obstacle, get comfortable, look through your optic, close your bolt, acquire your target, shoot at the first target. Actually, it was shoot the first target, then the second target, then the third target, which are all different ranges, by the way. So like the first one was like 100 yards away, then 125 yards away, and then 225 yards away. And then work your way back through them. So basically 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
But I spent so much time getting into position, and then when it was time to switch targets, part of the way that you shoot further away targets is you adjust your elevation. Well, when I learned to shoot, I was always taught that it's faster to use the reticle to adjust your aim on the fly than to adjust your turrets on your scope between each shot. Because like the way that most modern optics work is you have your gun zeroed at a certain range. So for instance, my gun is zeroed at 100 yards. So that means that if I put the center of my crosshair at a target 100 yards away, that's where the bolt should impact. And if I'm shooting at something further away, I can either take my hand and turn the little dial on the top of my scope, which essentially moves the position of the crosshair in the optic. So when I turn it to go up, what it's essentially doing is it is moving the crosshair inside the scope up. So that way I have to down. So I basically have to lift the gun up to shoot further away, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, what most modern optics have is they have little hash marks on the crosshair. So if my first target's at 100 yards and my second target is at 150 yards, I should have the presence of mind to know that I can either turn my dial so many clicks to account for that, or I can basically just aim higher and use a lower mark on my crosshair to aim. That's supposedly supposed to save time. The reality of the situation is that when you're on a clock and you're, in competition mode, trying to rest your rifle on wood, constantly shifting, adjusting, your body is tense because you're laying in an uncomfortable position, that's really fucking hard to do. It's hard to hold it.
Yeah.
Like if it's hard to basically, instead of just putting your crosshair dead nut center on a target, basically holding not the center in the right place and hit a target is really fucking hard. So in that first stage, I think I only scored 3 hits and I ran out of time.
Okay.
So the day didn't start off right. And then from there, we moved to different stations. There were some where you had to put your rifle on a fence post, some where you had to put your rifle on a tire, some where you would have to shoot prone and then kneeling. There was one station that basically had, if you were to look at your stairs sideways, you know how like they kind of go in that L-shaped pattern, each step. It was like 2 shots from the top step, 2 shots from the second to bottom step, 2 shots from the second to bottom step, and then just 2 shots from the ground or kneeling. There were all sorts of rules. Some stages had 10 shots, some stages had 12 shots, but each stage had a par time, in other words, a maximum time of 90 seconds. I think the best stage that I shot, I think I probably got 8 hits, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But most of my stages were like in the 3 to 4 hit range maximum.
Okay.
And over 11 stages, like, you're just going to fall off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now, the lessons learned here, though, is number one, I did not have my rifle zeroed correctly. The correct zeroing distance that I should have had for my rifle was 50 yards. Because any target at 100 to the 225 yard range, I had no problem engaging because that, like, my rifle was set up for that. The reality of the situation was most of the stages were less than 100 yards.
Mm.
And when targets are closer than you need them to be, you can either do what I said before, except aim lower, so use the top hashes on the crosshair to hit, or dial your scope down. What I discovered halfway through the competition is that it's much faster in the end to just know how many clicks to turn and recenter when you're engaging.
Got it. So you basically know how far away it is, and you need to adjust it to, and then take your shot and adjust it back down. Yeah.
Now each stage, like, ahead of time what the ranges are to the targets. So in between stages, you can basically bust out your ballistic calculator or your phone and basically, say, hey, so for this first target, I'm going to set my dial to 1.1. On the second target, I'm going to set it to 2.4. On the third target, I'm going to set it to 6.5. You can basically have that information in your head. Here's the problem. There's a lot going on while this is happening. And what I discovered is that there are products that basically attach to your scope that are like little dry erase boards.
Of course there is.
So you can basically figure out what your calls need to be, and you can basically write those numbers on the little whiteboard. So it's one less thing you have to think about. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, in the heat of it, the less you have to think about, the better.
I mean, that makes total sense.
Makes total sense. Okay, so that was like lesson number one. But here's the problem. Modern optics are designed to have what's called a zero stop, meaning that if you're out shooting for the day and you turn your turrets on your scope to adjust your scope, you have to remember how many times you turn them, so next time when you go to shoot, your scope is back where it's supposed to be. So optics have what's called a zero stop, meaning that at the end of the day, when you're done, you can just take your scope and turn it all the way to the left so it stops. In other words, once your scope is zeroed, you can basically set a little thing in there that makes it so you can never go below that number, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So if I'm out shooting at 800-900 yards with my other rifles, when I'm done at the end of the day, before I put the rifle away, before I put it night, I can just turn the dials all the way down, and I know the next time I go to shoot, it's at 100 yards or 200 yards or 250 yards or whatever I have it zeroed at. The problem with that is that if my rifle is zeroed for 100 yards, that means that my minimum distance on my scope can never be below 100 yards. So for the shorter stages, I couldn't dial low enough. So it was trying to hold like lower than that, which did not go well. I really think that, when I get a chance, we're going to re-zero that for 50 so that next time, I'll be able to engage. Because like some of the targets were as close as like 30 yards, which even then that's like still pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
The other thing was stability. I obviously have a bipod. The way that this particular competition was set up, there were no surfaces to put the bipod on. What do I mean by that? Well, in all those stages I described, there were some stages where, you had to rest your rifle on a fence post. Well, that doesn't have a lot of surface area.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't make it easy to lay your rifle, most of your rifle on that object. So there's companies that basically make what are essentially glorified bean bags that you can carry. So like when I said, you have to be standing there with your equipment in hand, usually what that means is you have your rifle in your right hand ready to go. And in your left hand, you have some kind of bag to rest your rifle on. So when he says go and the thing beeps, you run over to where you're going to start shooting and you lay this bag on it, and then you put your rifle on top of that bag. That gives you more area to work with, and it also adds so much stability because there was nothing else to put your tripod on. So as you change positions, so like, you know, if it's take 2 shots, change positions, take 2 shots, change positions, it's you take your shots, you lift your rifle up, you pick your bag up, and then you set it down somewhere over here, and then you do that. And I know that sounds like a lot of things, but you make up so much time not having to like not make your rifle shake or, you know, resting it in the right place. And there's a whole bunch, like there's a whole rabbit hole on the right kind of bag to get. Do you want a wax bag? Do you not want a wax bag? Do you want a bag that can attach to your gun directly? Do you want to freehand your bag? There's all sorts of stuff that you can get into with that to make it more sustainable. And then the last one was just more practice, right? Like what I didn't account for was, you know, all the different props and things that we shot from. You know, when I did my ballistic here's the things that I'm proud of. Number one, I'm proud of myself for actually doing it, right? Getting out there and just doing it and looking like a total fuck up the whole time. Because I just had not prepared fully. I would say that all of my ballistic calculations were pretty good. It was a very good day for shooting. It was hot. There was no wind whatsoever. So I didn't have to account for anything other than just regular bullet drift or spin drift. My ballistic calculations were, like I said, like pretty much perfect. When I was shooting past 100 yards, the calls and the dials were perfect. I did get a little bit better as the day went on. And like people are pretty helpful, right? There's a lot of people there who do this a hell of a lot more than I do. They were happy to give pointers. People let me use their bags. So again, my scores got better later in the day. Right. So like I just basically made a list. The other thing was like my magazines were only 10 round magazines. For stages that need more bullets, that means a reload, that means more time. So I basically, one of the first things I ordered when I got home was basically a 3D printer parts file that someone made. I bought it for $5 and I 3D printed magazine extensions for my magazines.
Oh, okay.
So basically you 3D print these little things that just make it so more bullets can go in your magazine. Like it uses all the same springs, all the same hardware. You know, I printed 2 of those off. I attached them to my magazines. Like I'm ready for that next time. That'll make it easier. But it was a hell of a lot of fun. And again, I think it's really cool that you can do that with a gun that doesn't have recoil, because recoil is a whole other thing that like factors into this. You know, it started at 8. We were done by noon. Like even all those people that was just, you know, run it through, get it done. You know, I learned how to help keep score because there's a whole thing about that. It's spoiler alert. It's all iPads.
Of course.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. How to keep time. And I can't wait for the next one. This club that I belong to, that is their most popular match for good reason. Because like again, like now that I have like all the main gear other than some of this other stuff I mentioned, it's a relatively straightforward thing to do. Ammo's pretty cheap, even good quality ammo's pretty cheap to do it with. And it was just a fun day. It was a really, really fun day. I can't wait to do it again.
Good. When's the next one?
Not until I think September.
Okay.
And that's when it'll get a little bit dicey because, you know, the weather starts to turn and they get to be a lot harder. So we'll see. I mean, that was a good one. That was a good one to learn on. I will definitely do another one. I tried to like, you know, record some of the stages with my meta wayfarers, but again, there's just so much going on and you only have 90 seconds. Like I can't be futzing with my glasses while I'm trying to shoot.
Yeah.
So more practice, but it was a good time and I will do better from here on out.
Yeah. That's how you get better, practice.
It's how you get to Carnegie Hall. Okay. Hit me with this.
I finished season 2 of The Wire.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. You were on the crux of a pivotal episode last time.
I was.
I couldn't say anything.
I was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. A lot happened to that family. Hey, there's going to be spoilers for The Wire season 2. If you don't want to hear them, go to the next chapter.
Yeah, spoiler horn.
Hey nerds, there's gonna be spoilers.
Okay, so tell me what happened.
Oh, wow. Ziggy lost his shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He got screwed on a deal and just decided to say fuck it.
Yeah, just people calling him names one too many times, and he just lost it. And then like everything just started to unravel. Like
yeah.
Like
I mean that again, that's one of those episodes that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just comes out of nowhere. Like you think, like you were hooked. Like you thought the investigation was going to go one way and everything was going to hinge on these guys, and then it just just fucks it over.
And then like the raids that happen, and Frank.
Yeah.
Oh,
poor Frank.
Just absolute worst timing in the world.
Yep.
Oh,
everybody fucking loses in season 2, man. The longshoremen lose the shot at getting the canal dredged and the grain pier. Frank dies. Ziggy goes to jail.
Their
the
case
police
even kind of falls apart at the end.
The whole case falls apart. They don't get everybody they need to get. D'Angelo obviously didn't have a great season 2.
True. Yep. Yeah. He got. Yeah.
What about Brother Mazzone?
Yeah, that whole like Stringer sick and Omar on him. And I'm pretty sure Brother Mazzone figured that the fuck out. Yeah.
Prop Joe and Stringer working together while Avon's in jail.
Yeah, getting the photographs of that.
Yep.
So I have a funny feeling that's going to be season 3. But
have you started it yet?
No, I haven't started it yet.
Okay, don't lose the momentum, because I'm telling you, like season 3 and 4 of that show, man. I go back and forth on if you've enjoyed it so far, if you were able to make it through season 2, congratulations. Now you're ready for some shit. Now you're ready for some shit, dog.
But I also have demons to kill. They're not going to kill themselves, Drew. So
you're still doing that? I thought you were done with the season.
No, I'm still playing season 5 of Diablo a lot.
You really need to get season 3 going.
No, I can't game all day. So, I'll definitely. I mean, I've
with
been,
that attitude. But.
No, I usually try to watch like half an episode when I eat lunch, but this one's kind of been half an episode. I'm one of those people. I just stop watching things when I'm very Merlin Man like in that manner. If I'm watching a movie and I'll be 40 minutes into it and be like, I'm gonna go do something else, and I do something else, and then I come back the next day and finish the movie. I'm one of those people. So I'll watch like half an episode.
I can only do that if I've seen the movie before.
Yeah, no. I have no problem coming back, even days later to finish it. Yeah. Wow. No problem. So that's what I try to do. But this week's was a little not conducive to that. So yeah.
Got it. Well, I am so excited for you to get to season 3 and get through all of that.
I will start it. Yeah,
some really good, memorable characters are coming up. There's, let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, I think there's 3 new people you're going to get introduced to in season 3 that are really important.
Okay.
So, yeah, very, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff.
Yeah. The season 2, I had this like vision of how it was going to end, and it was just like, nope. Middle fingers, Paul. Yep. Everything goes to shit.
All in the game, though.
Yeah.
All in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Paul, there are words you can use to describe me. I wouldn't say that fiscal responsibility is up there, although I will say, like, look, I save for retirement. I'm not in crippling credit card debt. I outside of some of these expensive hobbies, like I really don't spend money on too many things. I take care of my immediate family and everything like that.
I know where this is going. Oh, I think I know where this is going.
So, one of the lifestyles that I adopted earlier this year.
Sorry.
One of these lifestyles that I adopted earlier this year is I was a self-proclaimed truck guy.
Yeah. I got to see your little truck.
Yeah. Now tell me about my little truck.
It's little. It's little. It's little. Yeah.
So we're talking about.
It is the least amount of money you can spend on something you could call a truck.
That isn't true.
Okay.
But you're not far off.
It's close. Okay.
So I owned a 2024 Ford Maverick. Now, again, listeners to the show will know that, Truck Guy Drew became a persona that I adopted, and I went kind of whole hog into the truck lifestyle when I bought this. The joke being that I'm absolutely not the persona of a person who drives a truck.
No, you're not.
I could not be further from that. I'm a BMW snob through and through. But part of the reason that I bought this little truck was when I bought my M4, which again, we've talked about all this before. This is just a quick little recap. When I bought my M4, I sort of knew that this wasn't going to be the kind of car that I wanted to take out when the weather was bad. Mostly just because it's not designed to be driven in that weather, but most of all, I wanted to keep it nice and, not, expose it to salt and all this other stuff. Even though technically it is all-wheel drive, it doesn't have the tires for it. It's not really designed for that. And it's a fucking convertible in Ohio. Like there's just going to be time that I couldn't do that. And, I looked at used little trucks because obviously this convertible doesn't have all the cargo space in the world. And, while Mandy has a Forester, I can't, she's going to be at school. I can't rely on her to be, if I need to go run and pick something up or do something, like I can't just take her car all the time to do that. So I looked at buying used pickup trucks or SUVs as kind of like my daily driver / yard work, gun carrying, activities that I can't necessarily, longer road trips as well, because the BMW is great. It's a sports car, but it's a firm suspension. It really beats you up after a while. It's not good for long road trips. And I'm from the Midwest, and that's what we do. So I bought, when I had the opportunity to buy the Maverick, it was a vehicle that somebody had placed an order for, and then for whatever reason didn't buy it. So the dealer had it on the lot at a time where, and even now, I think there's still a decent lead time if you were to place an order for a Ford Maverick. It's exceptionally it's an exceptionally, popular truck. I'm seeing more and more of them on the road now. We all wave at each other, just like Jeep owners do, without all the rubber duckies. But very, very popular car. Price was very, very, very well priced. And again, mostly just because it's cheap. And while you can option them out, they're not super expensive. It's a 4-foot bed compared to other pickup trucks that are mid-size. It's at least $15,000 to $20,000 cheaper. Like pickup trucks are just outrageously expensive now. And again, the lie that I told myself at the time was, I just need this to be and truck, all-wheel drive, daily driver. Doesn't have to be fancy. I have fancy at home. I don't need anything highfalutin. I just need something that can get around. I can haul shit in.
How'd that work out for you?
It worked out great. Absolutely worked out great. I love that little truck. And I still love that little truck. I want to go on record as saying that truck had absolutely no problems. It was my first American car that I've ever owned. It's a Ford. I've never owned a domestic car. I've always owned foreign cars, mostly Japanese, some German. It was great. Absolutely great. I had a bed liner put on. It had a lot of storage space in the front. It could reasonably seat 4 people if they weren't huge. Now, granted, it didn't have all the towing capacity in the world. It didn't have all the load capacity in the world, even though it did have a trailer hitch. I love the color. It had air conditioning. It had CarPlay. It was perfect, as Homelander would say. Perfect, just perfect. But I realized something, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I realized 2 things. One, I really like having nice technology in my car.
Yeah, I can see that. Mm-hmm.
Now, the Maverick had a key. Like, in order to start the Maverick, you have a key. And when every car you've owned for the past 10 years has had push to start, it's cute for a little while. But the fact that I have to constantly go fishing in and out of my pocket for a key, talk about a first world problem. I have it. Okay. I have that problem.
Understandable.
And the screen in it, not great. It's super small. In fact, they just announced the 2025 Mavericks and they have bigger screens because of course they do. I really truly think, like, if you were to look at the interior of my truck, you would see the screen and there was just kind of like this little compartment to the right-hand side that you couldn't put anything in because like it would just fly out of it. Like it's clear that they wanted to put a bigger screen in this thing, but whatever part they used for it, like that's what they could make fit. I mean, American car companies are great at that. Like the whole supply chain around how cars are built, the more parts you can use across multiple models, the cheaper it is to make cars, it turns out. Like that's what Lee Iacocca like was kind of famous about, like making like the K platform and all this other stuff. But that's a whole other podcast. Like we're not that podcast, but you can go read about that. But like not having blind spot detection, not having heated seats, even though it's summer, not having a heated steering wheel. It has a backup camera, but it was like kind of buggy where like sometimes it would come on and the screen would freeze for a little while. And you know what you don't want to have happen when you're backing up? The screen not work.
Yeah. That seems bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that I was like ever in danger or anything. Again, great truck. I took it on a few trips to Nashville, took it to Pennsylvania a few times, took it to the range a few times, performed admirably. But I missed having tech. I missed having a big screen. I missed a digital dash. I missed all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that I realized, Paul, I kind of like driving a truck. I really do.
Okay.
I really do. Having a more commanding view of the road is nice. Having the extra cargo capacity, towing capacity is nice. And you know, as cool as the Maverick is, it's not a real truck. It's not a body on frame truck. It's a unibody. It's more built more like a car than a truck. Meaning that it has all-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive. You know, it doesn't have that capacity. It doesn't have the suspension. You can't really raise it up very high to get over, you know, it's not the kind of truck that you're going to take off road in like harsh conditions or deep mud or anything like that. But as far as trucks go, it's perfectly fine. And so.
Did you buy a new truck, Drew?
I bought a new truck, Paul.
What did you buy?
Okay. So I am now the proud owner of a 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Which I will add is, if I'm being completely honest, the truck that I wanted to begin with. I was actually looking at used Tacomas before I bought the Maverick. And the fact that the Maverick was new and on the lot, and the used Tacoma I was looking at was only a few $1,000s cheaper than a new Maverick, I decided to get the Maverick. Just because, again, it was cute, it was fun, it met my needs, it was good. But again, I did not get the most optioned out Maverick in the world, and I miss having all of the bells and whistles. So I went from a small truck to a what they call a medium truck.
Okay.
Now, the Tacoma, made by Toyota, kind of legendary. You know, it's been around forever. Toyota's reliability and everything notwithstanding, you know, good truck. And if you're on that page and you scroll down to the bottom, there are 11 different trim models.
Okay. First, I just want to know, what color did you get?
I got silver.
Boo.
Well, I wanted white or I wanted blue, and I saw both, and I didn't like either.
The blue is a little bold. I really like that orange. Woo.
No, I can't. I can't do the orange, man.
Okay, I get it.
I'll be honest. They have like a brown, like almost like a matte brown that was kind of cool.
That one does look pretty nice. Yeah. I was looking at that one too. Yeah.
So as you can see, there are different degrees of this truck.
Yeah.
The base model is about what a new well-trimmed Maverick starts at, and that's the SR at $31,000. And there is what they call their TRD Pro line, which is $64,000.
That just keeps going. That horizontal scroll bar is doing a lot of work.
There's 11 different models here, and really these are all sort of like targeted at different segments of the truck. Now, when you kind of get into this kind of truck, this is the kind of truck that can be a work truck. It can be an overlanding truck. It can be a camping truck. It can be an off-road truck. Like this thing can basically be configured however you want. And typically the more expensive trims either lean hard into one of those directions. So like the most expensive top of the line one is the TRD Pro, which has like upgraded shocks, upgraded tires, differentials that can, do different things.
That's a work truck. Yeah.
Well, the TRD Pro is for people who really like spend time, like more time on dirt and gravel than they do on pavement.
Okay.
The Trail Hunter is kind of like the more suburban-y, like, pavement princess type thing that you would buy. It looks aggressive, but I don't think people take that off-road. The Limited is more of the luxury. And then the TRD off-road is kind of like the mid-grade. It has some of the options of the TRD Pro, but it doesn't have everything. I went with the TRD Sport trim.
Okay.
Mostly because, even though I will probably take this, into the snow or like on gravel or dirt to go to like places or like farm roads to like go shoot or something, like I like the flexibility that this has, mostly because it has the higher ground clearance and it actually has true 4x4 capability instead of all-wheel drive, which is important. There was one thing in particular that drew me to this truck.
Okay.
And that is, go ahead.
No, what is it? What is it?
You can get it in a manual.
Oh, yes. Okay. I bet you, is it like every trim come in a manual or is it just some of them?
No. So just I know that the TRD Sport does and the TRD Off-Road does. I don't know if the other ones do. I want to say that like the SR5 does. I thought it did, but when I go to the build configuration, double cab with 5-foot bed. No, it doesn't. The SR5 doesn't. I thought it did. So I think that the 6-speed manuals are only on the middle trims. And sure enough, like when I stopped at a Toyota lot, they had a decent amount of manuals on the lot, and I got to drive one, and I can still drive a manual pretty good.
Good.
So I got a TRD Sport. I got it in, I believe it's the 5-foot bed. I didn't get the extended bed. It is in Celestial Silver Metallic, not underground. So it's not the darker color. Celestial Silver Metallic with the, it actually has, I believe it's called the Black Softex, 4-wheel drive, 6-speed manual transmission. Now here's the kicker, Paul. This particular truck that was on the lot had the TRD Sport Premium package. Now, before I go any further, you need to understand that I was mostly looking for a TRD Sport because it has, as standard, a really, really nice digital dash. Like very, very nice digital dash.
It's very big. Yeah.
Yep. And then it has a good size screen and it's a manual. Okay. And then the TRD Sport Upgrade package is interesting because the TRD Sport Upgrade package gives you better speakers. It also gives you a massive, absolutely massive 14-inch screen on your dash. Okay. Like this thing's like having an iPad Pro like strapped to your dash. No lie. It is huge. And it is crisp. It is responsive. It is a beautiful, beautiful display. So like my dream spec of this truck was basically, first of all, I want to find it in a manual because I want to go back to having a manual transmission. I love rolling my own gears. I love having an engaging drive. Like the M4 I couldn't get in a manual, or I would have because it's a sports car. But to really get the most out of that car, you do have to sort of like use the paddle shifters and learn how to shift. I grew up driving manuals. I had a lot of manual cars in my time. So the opportunity to go back to that is compelling. So anyway, like my dream spec was just the TRD Sport upgrade package, and that's it. Like just the 14-inch display with the TRD Sport upgrade package. Like I was set. Now the one I ended up buying though ended up coming with the premium package.
Okay.
So the premium package is interesting because it also adds things like surround camera and dual zone climate control and heated seats and heated steering wheel and digital key and all this other stuff. I this is one of those things I didn't need, but here's the thing. These trucks, everybody on the internet's really mad about these trucks because Toyota basically took a really, really capable and respected truck backed by Toyota's kind of legendary reliability and made them very expensive. So everybody's really big mad at Toyota about how they price these trucks. So there's a lot of them on lots, and I was able to work a pretty good deal.
Good.
Yeah. So this ended up being, even with this upgraded package, I was able to get to a price point that I agreed with. And now here's the other thing too. My Ford Maverick is a 2024. I bought it in February. It only had, the odometer had just ticked over 6,000 miles when I traded it in.
Mm-hmm.
I paid roughly $30,000 for that truck, and they gave me $29,000 for my trade-in.
Nice.
Definitely held its value.
Yeah,
Definitely held its value.
100%.
Yeah. So I've been like, tooting around in this a little bit. I love driving the manual. It's high. Like I feel like a fucking king. I feel like a fucking king in this thing. It's a little hard for Mandy to get in, but we're addressing that. I'm going to get some running boards and put them on myself. I got to go back to my truck websites and buy some accessories. It has a really big bed, much bigger than the Maverick. Not that I was like ever hurting for space or anything back there. Bigger back seats, a rear window that rolls down, which is super nice because like if you're driving around with your windows down, normally you get that buffeting. It turns out if you have a back window with a hole in it, that doesn't happen, which is pretty nice.
Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, really, really good seats, really nice display, adaptive cruise control. What's really interesting though, and it does have wireless CarPlay. But I will say there's two things about it that give me a little bit of pause right now. Okay. So the first one is it has wireless CarPlay, right? And it has a phone charger built into it. Now, if you're looking at the build page and you're looking at like, if you're on the configurator and you choose the 6MT and then you click on the interior picture, describe what you see. Describe like the interior for me.
Hold on, I lost the page. Hold on.
Okay.
Crap.
Because there's one thing I want to see if you home in on it on that picture.
Okay, so you want me to look at the interior?
Yes.
Okay.
But make sure you pick the TRD Sport Premium package and the 6MT.
All right.
So you actually see the 3 pedals and the gear shifter and all those options.
Okay, so TRD Sport. Okay, I'm back here. Doesn't matter what color. I just want to get to packages. Okay. TRD Sport Premium package.
Yes.
Okay. Update. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Show me the interior. I had the interior at some point. Show it to. Okay. All right. I don't have the manual selected. God damn it. Powertrain. 6-speed manual transmission. Yeah, change to 4-wheel drive. Of course. Okay, I see the 3 pedals. Okay. I see the shifter. There's okay. It's kind of that screen is huge.
It's huge. It's huge. It's so good.
Huge.
It's so good.
It looks like a digital dash.
Yep.
Okay. Those are nice.
Yep. Okay. So where do you think? Okay. Where do you think the phone goes?
Oh, where does the phone go? Does it go in that little slot in front of the center console?
In front of the what?
So in the center console, the thing in between that opens up, you put your shit in.
No,
I see this little I see this little opening in front of it.
Those are cup holders, but you're warm.
Okay. Does it go to the right of the gear shift?
No.
Does it go on? Is it on the? It can't be on the door.
Nope.
Where does it go? There's got to be a bespoke place for phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You might get a little hint if you go full screen on interior.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I see the little. It looks like there's like a little oh shit handle for the passenger there.
Okay, getting warmer.
Okay. But where would it? Does it go in front of the gear shift?
It does. So do you see that yellow warning label? Okay.
Uh-huh.
That is the Qi charger pad.
Does it? You slide it in there?
So the way it works is you take your phone and you lean it up against that, and there's a little rubber retention thing that you sort of like socket your phone in to hold it there.
Huh.
I don't know if I love that. I don't know if I love it yet.
Yeah.
So like right now, I actually have like, and by the way, there is no USB A or B in this car. It's all USB C everywhere, all the time.
Good. Yeah.
I actually have a USB C to Lightning cable plugged in there, and I have it basically going to my cup holder for now. But since it's wireless CarPlay, it doesn't have to come out of my pocket, but I don't need it to. But like I need my phone to charge, I can either put it on that thing, and it's not going to go anywhere. But like, what's my particular situation is I have the Apple Wallet on my phone. It will not fit in there.
So you have to take it off if you want to. Yeah.
Yes. So that's not great for me. That's not great for me. Otherwise, it goes there, and it goes there just fine. And I will say this, like the one thing about the Maverick is since it was all-wheel drive, is that part of the reason there's not a lot of storage space in the middle here is there's an entire drivetrain between you and the passenger, right? Like that's where the engine and like the axles are for like the four-wheel drive system. So like there's not a ton of space between, like up where the gear shifter is. So there is a little pocket sort of the right of the gear shift, but if your phone tips over, it's in the way of you shifting. So it can't go there. But there are a lot of pockets in the door. I can certainly throw it in the center console. If you actually like go to the third picture, you can see that those cup holders like go into the back seat too. So like I could set it there if I need to, but I'll forget to pick it up if I do that. But yeah, if you go to the last picture where you kind of get the overhead view of the interior, like it basically sits right in front of the gear shift.
Yeah, with that overview, I can see how it's at an angle now.
Yeah. That's the only part I'm not 100% sure about right now. And here's the other interesting thing. So the upgraded sound system in this, it's made by JBL, which I think is interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's a 5-speaker system. Now, Paul, if I told you this car had 5 speakers, where do you think those 5... actually, wait, no, I take that back. It's a 7-speaker system. Okay, if I told you this car had 7 speakers, where do you think they would be?
Okay, so I'm guessing there's 2 each on the passenger and driver door. That seems to be very popular.
So there's there's one
like a small tweeter and like a bigger one.
Yeah, so there's the big speaker which is down by your feet. There's a little tweeter in like the upper left there. Yep, you're correct.
That's very popular. So I got 4.
There's 4.
There's definitely 2 in the back.
Correct.
1 for each, like on each side. That gives me 6. There's 1 more speaker.
Uh-huh. I'm trying to look through the pictures here to see if you can see it.
Okay.
You can't see it in the pictures.
It's got to be something centered.
You're correct.
I just don't know whether it's going to be centered in the front or centered in the back.
Okay, so
I'm guessing it's centered in the front.
It is centered
but
in
I don't
the
know
front.
where.
Is
it behind the screen?
It is behind the screen.
Okay.
So let me do this. Let me see if I can actually show you a picture of this, because this is very interesting. Okay. I don't know if I can get a picture of this. Protection steps, storage, lighting, styling, technology. Okay. Do me a favor. Scroll down till you see accessories, and then go to technology.
Okay, I gotta get extra full screen all the way to accessories, technology. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now there's an option there that says JBL Bluetooth speaker. I want you to click on that.
Okay.
And tell me what the picture shows.
So does it have a little? It has a little Bluetooth speaker in it.
So the center speaker is removable.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's a little Bluetooth speaker that if you're camping or somewhere where you want some outside music, you can basically take the center speaker out of your center dash and take
That's
it out
adorable.
and you plug it back in and it just works.
That's adorable.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. And someone stole it out of the truck that I bought. So they had to like they stole it out of another truck and put it in mine because they're interchangeable.
Got it.
So they couldn't find it. They were like looking everywhere for it. They were like, we can't find it, so we're just going to take one out of another truck. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, that sounds like their problem. Not
Yeah,
yours.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just wash the truck and get me out of here. I don't want to be at this dealership anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's So anyway, yeah. So I am now a real truck boy. I was like I was a baby truck boy, but now I'm a big truck boy.
Big
6-speed manual
big
truck
capital
boy.
T truck. Big capital T truck.
Yeah, and the other nice thing too is that now that I'm like I'm even more in the lifestyle, I can start getting like actual accessories.
Yeah.
And one nice thing about this truck is, again, if you're looking at the interior picture, on to the left of the steering wheel, there's a whole panel full of buttons.
That's a lot of buttons. Yeah.
Well, 3 of those are what they call auxiliary switches, and they're pre-wired. So like if I buy a light bar or something else that takes external power, there's already wiring harnesses that I can plug them into. I don't have to like splice anything.
Got it. Just plug and go.
Exactly. So like if I want to add like bed lighting or I want to get one of those ridiculous light bars or something, I can do that. So, yay, Drew.
Yay, Drew. Well, I'm glad you're happy.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I really like the Maverick. This wasn't like I needed to get rid of the Maverick. I didn't need to do this. I was in a position where it was like, okay, if I get this much for my trade and I put a little money down, I can make this work and I can have a nice truck that's a 6-speed manual. Like that's where my head was at. The fact that I got it with a little more options that I wanted didn't help, but I think in the end I'm pretty happy with it. And like again, I have here's the other thing that's kind of scummy. Like my BMW has an app and my Ford had an app and I could do remote start. I could unlock the car. I could get status updates. I could do all that stuff. Toyota's is subscription based. Now I'm in a 3-month trial.
I'm saying, did they give it to you for like a period of time?
Now I will say that what's cool about that app though is that if I get out of my truck and I forget to lock it, my phone will basically send me a push notification. Hey, like your truck's unlocked, dummy. You want to lock it? So that's pretty cool. And it does have like smart keyless entry and everything, so that's pretty nice. But they basically gave me like, I don't know if it's a year or 6 months or something, but then it's like, how much is it actually? I don't even know. It's like, it's got like when I was like buying the truck and they were like helping me like set up the app and everything. Cause like, I think they're like required to do that, even though I probably could have done it at home. It was so funny because like the app has like 1 star on the App Store.
Bad. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay. Manage payment. Okay. Shop. Manage subscriptions. Okay. Safety Connect, up to 10 years, 4G network dependent, which trial service up to 10. Does that mean the trial is 10 years? I'm confused.
I have no idea.
Service Connect up to 10 years. I think that's just included. Remote Connect Lock Unlock with digital key expires on August 11th. Wow. That is not a very long thing.
Is it next year at least?
Oh, yeah, 2025. Duh.
Okay,
oh, shit.
okay.
I was like, damn, what the hell?
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I get this for a year.
Good.
Okay, the app's not responding. This is cool. How much is this? Expires on August 11th. Add service. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Drive Connect, Premium or Go Anywhere. So the Go Anywhere is $15 a month, and that gives me Drive Connect and Remote Connect Unlock. That seems expensive. $15 a month seems like a lot. There's a $25 a month option that basically gives you internet access too, but I don't I don't need that. Music lover. Yeah, so $15 a month if I want that. That seems a little scummy, but I mean, I guess this is the future we got.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to get that services revenue.
Yeah, that's where the money is. That's where the money is.
Reoccurring revenue. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Ah, man, we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll talk about this next episode, but my lease is up in a month.
Okay. I mean, I love talking about cars, so let's get it on there.
I got to figure out what I'm gonna, because I'm not gonna keep it. I've already decided that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get something else. So I've got a lot of deciding to do, Drew.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
gather ye thoughts, and
Okay,
I will help you because it turns out I like buying cars. I guess
that would be great. All right.
Okay. Get us out of here.
We're on the internet, doingtheirbest.com. You can find show notes, links, emails, everything you wanted. Hey, and we're on YouTube for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And thanks for listening.